Hello and welcome. My name is Linda Lovelace, and we are thrilled that you are here. I am a global certified Napoleon Hill Institute coach, and I am here alongside the beautiful Molly Croker, who is also a certified Napoleon Hill Institute coach. And together we are going to share our excitement about what we are getting ready to launch here. And I'm going to share a little bit about my journey and the impact that this has made on me and why I'm here. And then Molly's going to share her story, and then we will show you the details of what this is all about, and know that you will be as excited as we are to be joining this movement, this huge movement that's about ready to change and impact lives. And my journey began actually with I think the impact of the pandemic. I think as so many people experienced, I forgot who I was. And with a lot of sideswiping, because I was just so conditioned all my life to be strong. As a woman, built very successful businesses. I was a designer and dressmaker, entrepreneur my whole life, raising my 3 children. And I remember sitting behind the sewing machine after burning the midnight oil night after night, saying, God, there must be something more than this, because this isn't working. And I decided to do a beauty pageant of all things in my 40s. And in the process of doing the pageant, of preparing for the pageant, I was introduced to a network marketing company that I'm still a part of, that I've been with now for 30 years, and hit a pinnacle in that success as well, and felt another holy discontent, is what I call it, and didn't understand what was going on. And some of you may be able to relate to this. And what happened, what I realized was I was in a grieving process with my husband being diagnosed with Parkinson's, and then getting hit with my mom passing away, and me gratefully being able to be there by her side with her struggle through cancer and passing away. And then a year later, my best friend, my sister, passing away of triple negative breast cancer. And being so strong, I just felt like I could, I've got this, I can hold this all together, until the pandemic hit and sideswiped me again, and found that I literally could not get out of bed. And it was a slow process coming back, and something came across my feed and I inquired Molly and Amy, and they are in my business as well. And I noticed a shift. Something was different about them. And so I inquired and said, okay, what are you girls up to? And they mentioned Napoleon Hill. And I thought, oh my gosh, my dad being a pastor and excuse me, raising 7 children, he played in a lot of personal growth, personal development, and he had cassette tapes playing in the background that we were listening to just because he was listening to them. And it was Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale, Dale Carnegie, all of the great thought leaders of the time. And we would roll our eyes and say, Dad, why do we have to listen to these old men? And what I understand now is what he knew of what, more is caught than taught, what he was ingraining in us. And so when I rediscovered Napoleon Hill Institute, I felt like I came home. And so I jumped in with both feet, and just fire hose of information came at me, but a lot of it came back because it was already ingrained. And so we are so thrilled now. This has been a work in progress over the last year or so, that we've been excited about sharing it with the world, and especially with women, because for way too long, women have carried the weight of the world on their shoulders, juggling family, business, expectations, responsibilities, and it's time to rise and step boldly and confidently into our true beauty and greatness and wear the crown that we were always born to wear. And one of the things that came to fruition as I was doing this work that reminded me of a letter that my uncle wrote to my mom when I was 10 years old that said, Linda needs to reclaim her crown. And I didn't really understand what that meant. But doing the beauty pageant, and winning that in 1999, that wasn't it. Building my business all the way to the top 1% of the company, there was another holy discontent. This isn't it. What is that? And then on my dad's bedside, before he passed, he squeezed my hand and said, Linda, take them all to the top with you. Didn't really understand what that meant, but this global movement of what is happening, I'm starting to see everything fall in place. So what inflection moments have you had along your journey that are coming back, that are reminding you of who you are? You don't need to become someone new. You just need to remember who you are. And that's the journey that I love about what we are unfolding here and what I'm still, again, school's never out for the pro. We're always learning and growing. And so this is all part of this movement of growth together, collectively as women, a safe place to come together and grow together, and a healthy place that we can become more of knowing who we truly are. So I'm going to bring Molly up and she can share her story, and then we will go through what this program's all about.
Thank you so much, Linda. Hi, everybody. My name is Molly Croker, and I'm here in the Midwest, and I love Linda's story. My story is, similar but different, right? I was a sports medicine physical therapist on the top of my game. I feel so blessed that I knew that that was what I wanted to do. And then 10 years into my career, I too had a little yearning for something more. And I thought that more meant go back to medical school. I was pre-med. I thought, you know what? We have a 6 and 3-year-old. My husband travels a ton. And when he came home, I said, that's it. I'm taking the MCAT. And he was so on board. He was so supportive. And he said, if anyone can do it, you can. And I will say that is part of something that has been inside my sister and I, Amy, for so long, is a positive mental attitude. But I pivoted and was introduced to a network marketing company like Linda, built to the top 1%, and have been involved for 20 years. Absolutely love, love, love that business, but felt like, okay, I'm at the top of my game, but there's so much more. What is that more? What is it that I can create? And I saw my sister, we're 20 months apart. We're very close. We have kids together. The oldest are 13 days apart. The next set are 5 weeks apart. We are very, very close. When I got married, my dad said to my husband, you are marrying her sister as well. My husband did not know 32 years later. He really was serious. And so we do everything together like Linda and her sister did. And what was happening is my sister was leveling up in who she was. She was showing up completely different than she had in the first 50 years of her life. She'd always been really successful in business. It wasn't that, it was just who she was being. And I thought, I want some of that. What are you doing? We go to the same church, like everything. We're in the same Bible studies. And this was different. This was different. This was way beyond personal growth and development. I feel so blessed that I have been a part of this industry for the past 20 years. But a lot of times we do call it shelf help, because maybe like some of you, I have read every single book. I've had a life coach. I had a life coach before anyone else had a life coach. So it wasn't that. I knew it wasn't that. I just needed someone to show me the next right step. And seeing what Amy was experiencing was what I wanted to experience. And so when the Napoleon Hill Institute, the foundation, has always been there since the 60s. And many of you know that Napoleon Hill, and Linda heard this growing up as a young girl, he taught 13 principles that are still to this day. Back then it was all men, but when he was asked by Andrew Carnegie to follow the most successful 500 of the most successful men in the world without being paid, mind you, he came up with these 13 principles that they all live by. And that is what we are taking to the world. And because they are proven over and over and over, when you hear the top speakers, the top coaches in the world share, they always mention Napoleon Hill. And so I knew that I wanted to be rich, rich in a positive mental attitude, rich in physical health, rich in human relationships and freedom from fear. That's what the rich is. That's what he's talking about, right? So that I wanted more of. And so went through the Institute, became a certified global coach, and really, like Linda and I are the feeling of bringing women up, whether you live in South America, in Saudi Arabia, in Africa, in Nigeria, in Tanzania, wherever it is that you live, we want to collectively rise up. And that's what I'm all about. I want a global movement, and that's really what this is. And so I knew I had to be a part of this, and that's what Linda saw unfolding before her. And I have so many people say, I don't know if I should hire a coach or a business coach or a mentor or a life coach. And I will say, honestly, friends, we are all that together, especially when you bring a force of these amazing women together. There is no telling what's going to happen in these next 6 weeks, but we really are going to address so many unique and incredible things, whether it is a business idea you're sitting on, a new something you're pivoting, you want to pivot your career, you want to climb the corporate ladder. You're at home with kids and all of a sudden you find yourself empty nesting. Like, this is for you. It is for everyone. And so that's why it's called, right? Confident and Called. It's the Women's Collective, because we are creating a massive community. And that's what we're all about. Linda and I are all about community. And so we're excited to bring this to you. We're going to run through the details of this. So I'm going to bring Linda back up, and we will run through the details of what this looks like starting on September 6th.
Thank you so much, Molly. And this isn't just another course. This is a movement. And it's about rediscovering the woman that you truly are, unlocking your confidence and answering the call that's been whispering inside you. And so I love the Confident and Called, because that's who we are. And we are stepping into her and owning her. And this is a 6-week identity upgrade of women who are ready to lead. And again, like Molly said, it's launching right around the corner, September 6th. And we'll go to the next slide.
So who is this Women's Collective? Well, this is outside of our regular Napoleon Hill Institute programs. That's what's so unique, is this is its own thing. We came up with the idea. We are excited. It is rooted in the principles of Think and Grow Rich. But again, we are going to focus on an identity upgrade. Some people call that self-image. I love the word identity, an identity upgrade. And so women who are ready to lead themselves and others into more, whether that is, we're going to work on desire. I love saying we teach women how to make decisions. That's very important to me. Linda and I are big lovers of legacy, but also the word wealth, right? Wealth comes from the word wheel, W-E-A-L, to do good. And so that's what we're all about, to do good. And then pair that with faith, you become unstoppable.
And who is Confident and Called for? Women who know that they are meant for more, but don't know the next steps. That's what we're here to help you take the first step. And in taking the first step, you're going to know what the next step is, and the next step is, and the next step is. And that's the beauty of this. This is upgrading your identity and self-image to walk in your unique beauty, elegance, courage, and strength as women. And women are tired of fear, the hustle and grind. We've all done that. We don't need to do that anymore. And second guessing. And women are ready to upgrade their mindset and identity. Women are craving clarity, purpose, and aligned action. And so with the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich, the principles are so still pertinent today. I was in Australia leading a group of women out there. And what I noticed is the gal that organized the whole Dream, Believe, Achieve event out there, it was all based on Napoleon Hill's principles. And that's that's why it was a well-oiled machine. So Molly, I'll let you take it while I clear my throat here.
Yes. And so course overview. And before I mention that, I just was working with one of my leaders about that, those young moms that are just in the thick of it. So don't sideline yourself and say, this isn't for me. I'm not, an empty nester. I'm not further along in my career. I'm like, yes, you are. You're exactly where you need to be. And that's what I love about this course is an upgrade in who you are. And self-image sounds like just this, but it is what comes out, what shows up out here is what's going on in here. And truly loving yourself. I think about the kind of leader I was when I started my entrepreneurial journey 20 years ago, and I was really hard on people. And that's because I was hard on myself. And so I've learned so much about identity and image over these last few years that it has made me literally unconditionally love people and really be unbothered. We're going to teach you about paradigms. Paradigms can be great, right? Great habits. I know I have lots and lots of great habits, but there's also some paradigms that don't serve me. Learning what those are. In week 2, and the greatest thing is you're going to have a different coach that you're going to hear from each week. So decision and desire. I love saying we help women make decisions and make bold decisions. That's what we're all about. Week 3, faith over fear. And really that key word, surrender. Surrender is active. It's not just laying on the couch and hoping and praying that something better is going to come along. But when you really actively surrender and you couple that with faith and releasing resistance, it's amazing. Talk about infinite abundance. You're going to just be attracting that like crazy. I love week 4. I know I worked with a coach that said, you are all in your masculine. You did Ironman. You must be all in your masculine energy. I've learned so much about balancing the doing part, the masculine part, which the feminine with the feminine energy of receiving. It's probably one of my very favorite things to teach about. And then in our private course at Sisters Next Door, we really talk a lot about wealth frequency. I love wealth frequency, the frequency of wealth, of doing good, giving you this penthouse mindset. We're going to talk about tithing. We're going to talk about, again, infinite abundance. And then week 6, like you heard Linda and I mention, legacy leadership. Oh my goodness, this is for the generations that are coming. And mentorship is probably one of the things that all of us collectively are the most passionate about. And as always, creating lots of room at the top. There's room for everybody at the table.
Absolutely. So the course schedule overview, we start September 6th at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, every Saturday morning. And it'll go for 6 weeks of live weekly Zoom sessions. And there will be replays available if you're not able to be on live. And then we will have cohort meetings on Wednesdays, multiple times, for open discussion on what is covered in the Saturday morning group calls in a more intimate setting in the community. So we get to know each other, connect with each other. There's a loneliness epidemic going on right now, and that's why communion, coming together and really communing together in a healthy, safe community is so important today. And then you'll be guiding you to where you see yourself long term in this community. So that it'll be ongoing. It's not just going to end. We're going to continue to stay connected with high touch support, weekly exercises, because we need to be practicing what we are doing in order for it to stay and within the group cohorts.
All right. I know, like Linda and I, you're like, is this the sign I've been waiting for? There's got to be something more. This is it, honestly. And I think we've had so many wonderful conversations with women. Any woman, whether it's me playing tennis and meeting all these incredible women that are either at home with kids or they're out in corporate and just hustling, and they get an hour and a half to go and play tennis and then they're back to the hustle. That might be you. It might be that you're an empty nester. It might be that you're in your 30s or 20s and just like overwhelmed with what's next for me. It doesn't matter where you are. This is just an opportunity to say yes. And I think this is so powerful. Nothing changes until nothing changes if nothing changes. And so if you want change, it starts with you. So this is your permission slip to step into the next level.
And I like to ask people, have you been praying for something lately? Mm-hmm. The answer comes, but sometimes we don't always recognize it when the answer is here. So this may be your answer of what you've been praying for. So what you'll walk away with is a crystal clear identity and renewed confidence in who you are. A mindset rooted in possibility, purpose, and wealth. And well-balanced, and that's what we're all wanting. Tools to navigate the fear. We talk about the 6 ghosts of fear, what's taking us out that we may not even realize that keeps rising, the pattern repeat that keeps rising and taking us out. So we take bold, aligned action and then stop that self-sabotage. And then a wonderful sisterhood of high-level women. We are so much better together, and it's time for the women to rise together for so many reasons. The impact we are going to make in the world, you want to be a part of it. And like Molly's been talking about, a legacy plan, leaving a legacy. I mean, I remember when my dad squeezed my hand and said, Linda, take them all to the top with you. I realized, oh my gosh, what am I doing that is impacting my eternity, that is leaving a legacy for generations yet not born? And so the impact that he made as a pastor, I realized, what am I doing that is leaving that legacy? So we don't just grow, we multiply. Mm-hmm. And now that I have grandchildren, oh my goodness, it's a whole new level.
I love that. So here's how you can enroll right here is email Jessica Shipley at Napoleon Hill Institute. Make sure you spell Napoleon correctly. And again, you're not just signing up for a course, you're stepping into who you were created to be.
Absolutely. And the investment is only $9.95 for a 6-week immersive experience. And it's truly an experience. There, again, with live weekly coaching sessions via Zoom, course material, workbook. I mean, there's so much inside of this, a lifetime access to the self-confidence camp that with the digital assets that are already in there. So as soon as you register, you have access to that to get started on it right now, which is so powerful. $1,500 value just right there. And access to the self-discipline camp that we are on every mornings, Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. And they're all over globally. So again, you have access to that, which is part of the discipline is the huge piece of this, of the practice of doing it enough times so it gets in and shifts the subconscious mind and creates a new pathway, becomes a new habit. And then the access to a powerful women's community and mentorship that is priceless.
And we're just going to end here with whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And that is, there is a knowingness that comes with this. And when you're there, when you believe, and there's just this deep knowing, anything is possible. And so we're so excited to partner with you on this incredible collaborative experience. And we look forward to seeing you at the top.
Thank you for joining us.